Hey guys, this is Plaguewind here. This is the prelude to the last mission that will be occurring on Vesper Prime. So, when Sicarius had been conducting the battle that was occurring in the front of the fortress, there was Corlius, who was the remaining member from the Valley of Dry Bones, and he was still going through his metamorphosis. He was in agony, and as his body started changing, the guards who were there to help protect him and to watch over him started to worry about what was occurring. And as they looked off and they start calling out for help, there was something that was occurring within his body. And the sisters who were protecting the actual Seat of Khorne would not be removed from their actual protection spot. And lo and behold, as he finally finished his last part of his metamorphosis, what once was Covius now stood something more hideous and definitely more frightening than the present Space Marine that was Corvius. So as the guards began to look at the guy that they were once wondering what was going on, he began to attack them fiercely. And as the sisters were there to protect the relic, the creature who now stood before them began to wipe out all the guards left and right. They had no chance against this newfound creature. And as this creature was there, he began to now move towards the sisters and towards the Seat of Khorne. The sisters there were now engaged and began to open fire on the creature who was now standing before them. And as they fought valiantly, they realized that this creature that they faced before them, they had no chance of beating. The guards who were there had died out and began to sound the alarm that something had presence, that there was a different presence that was amongst them. And then they finally died. And as this was occurring, the sisters who were now there were no more. The creature then walked up to the seat and began to crush the status field that was around it, supporting it. And after this had happened, he had finally communed back to his Lord and Master, letting them know that the plan was done and that the seat was vulnerable. As the creature began to turn around, the last remaining guardsmen began to shoot and open fire on him. And when this had happened, the demonic being had turned around and spewed filth on him. And when this had happened, he was now no more. As the creature then began to finish his deadly work, he turned around and saw that his once captain was now looking at him, Ramil. Ramil then was trying to figure out what this new creature was and began to question it, trying to figure out some of his resemblance looked familiar, but he wasn't sure what it was. And there stood before him a brand new demonic herald named Kratos. And at this point, the creature had looked at him and told him that his once prized pupil is no more, and now he was here to do that what his master commanded. And then the two began to engage in battle. Ramil had fought with his previous pupil and had fought really, really hard, but to no avail. This new herald was just too strong for him. And at the end, Ramil had died. As the creature finished his business, there appeared now the loyalists to engage this new threat. And as this was approaching, he had made sure that he had spoken to his patron, and the actual body key showed up and opened a portal into the air to try to take the key. So hey guys, this is going to be the beginning of the battle that has occurred. So if you look into the hallway, of the Great Hall, the demonic herald Kratos, after he had slaughtered Ramil, who was over here still in his laying there, who had died, he had tried to summon the warp portal. So the body key was able to open up the warp. And to make it kind of fair, I rolled 3d6 and scattered it, and this is where it scatters at. And then as you can see here, out comes the forces of Nurgle. You will see all of the Utru who is here, including some of their lieutenants and their entourage of Terminators, including Lord Typhus himself. And as you can see, they're facing off, but the Loyalists had responded from that call from the Imperial Guard who had died, and they were prepared to defend off their attackers. So they come in. Here's Tyrion. Bilal is also in the mix. You will see Grimnar himself that's in the front with his bodyguard and a few others. Candace Wolfborn is going to be engaged with Globulus. It's going to be a little bit epic on this one. It's going to be in your face from the beginning. This may only last 4 turns, we're going to see. So in the rear, you're going to see Stormcaller. Now, Stormcaller has an important job in this game. His job is to not only reactivate the status field. So it's going to go from a 6, 5, 4, and then a 3. Okay? And what the, excuse me, I'll take that back. It's going to be a 5, 4, 3, and a 2. Sorry. So he's going to roll. If he can activate the status field, on the very next turn, the chair can actually be lifted out and sent to the battleship of the Dark Angels, who will take it to an undisclosed location. Okay? And then after turn 4, if that has occurred, then the Chaos Forces will just leave. They will go back into the portal because they have failed. But if it doesn't leave, and if something happens to where the seat does not leave, then the Chaos Forces, if they can touch it, can still get to it. So it makes it rather difficult for the Chaos Forces to actually get to that chair. So we're going to see what happens. Because of them coming in and the Loyalists were aware, there will be a roll-off. We'll see who goes first. Let's go ahead and roll that off now. So the Loyalists will roll, and they roll a 3. And then the Chaos side will roll, and they roll 4. So the Chaos side is going first. Turn 1, in your face, coming at you. So guys, for turn 1, the Chaos side you guys saw went first, and they took advantage of it. Candace Wolfborn was killed by Globulus. His weapon was the murder weapon, and the murder sword. And because he designated to him, it gave him +2 strength and instant death. Candace Wolfborn didn't have a chance. Gluttonous had charged into this unit of Thundercav, and even though he killed one, those 2 Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, they were able to make quick work of him. And then also, Candace Wolfborn had one of his fellow Space Wolf comrades was over here, who also died by this Demon Prince. Mammon had killed one of the guys here in the Thunderhammer Storm Shield, but had no wounds to him. They whiffed on their attacks. Thantos came in, and he killed members from the Space Wolves here. That was kind of brutal. This other Chaos Lord, they broke even. But here you will see Scythos killed this unit champion from the Space Wolves. And Typhus has received a wound from Logan Grimnar, but he grabbed Logan Grimnar by the throat, punched him, and then threw him on the ground and put his neck on him. So, but you guys got to remember, Logan Grimnar is not dead. From the word of Mortarion. So Logan Grimnar is still alive, but his unit champion is dead. And Grugor with the black mace just made it was horrible. He just killed him outright. It was just really, really bad. The Herald here was actually able to cause a wound to the Knights, so they're not all toughness 5 all the way around. And this demonic lord here had attacked, but he failed. And the Knights were only able to cause wounds to both Thantos and to the Herald. And then Rubigus here and his unit they tied. And then here, Magatus, he killed 2 of the Ultramarines, and then is getting ready to engage with the Space Wolves. So there you guys have it for turn 1, kind of brutal. Let's see if the Loyalists can respond to this threat.